Hi friends, thanks so much for joining me. Psychic medium Jennifer Hall here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, please subscribe below, hit that notification bell so that you can stay up to date with new content and new videos that I post every single week. Let's get right into it. This video is going to be about how you can prepare for a session with a psychic or medium or psychic medium. What you need to do in order to prepare your energy, in order to show up in the best version that you possibly can of yourself. If that interests you, stick around. We're going to get right into it.
Welcome to Spirit Speaks with psychic medium Jennifer Hall.
Okay, so I've had actually a lot of questions in the last little while. A couple weeks ago, I posted a video about how I open up and how I prepare for a session. And I've had more than a few people reach out and sort of ask how they can prepare for their session with psychic or medium. It doesn't have to be with me necessarily. I think that these are pretty universal, standard kind of tips. So you can take these to any kind of session that you're booked for. So I would say, now you know me in my videos, I like things to be structured. I like a step-by-step process. It just sort of works well for me. So I'm gonna go with three tips that you can incorporate before you go to see a psychic or a medium to get the most out of the session. Of course, you do not have to do these. You don't have to do anything in order to get something out of the session by any means at all. Just show up with an open mind and open heart and you're good to go. That being said, if you would like to expand on that energy a little bit, or maybe you've seen someone already and you're going to see them for a second time, and you kind of just want to know how to prepare yourself, here are 3 little tips to do that. Okay, so tip number 1 is to be open. Kind of simple, kind of an obvious point, I think, but so often we show up to places in our lives, whether it's getting a reading done or anywhere else, we show up with expectations. And I would say the best advice that I can give anybody out there when they're showing up for a session, especially one with me or a medium, when we're looking to connect with people on the other side, especially, be open. Be very open and very open-minded, but also open-hearted, and let go of the expectations of how you think the session should go and what you think Spirit should say or talk about. Spirit surprises me every single time. I promise you, we're never gonna know what they want to talk about until we get right into the thick of it. So be open. Be open to new experiences, new opportunity, and especially if we're connecting with people on the other side, if you're looking to connect with loved ones, be open with how they choose to present themselves. As a medium, we have absolutely no control over the way that somebody comes through, how they use their validation to validate who they are, so what kind of information they offer. And not only that, but what the information is, so what they choose to talk about and the kind of messages that they choose to bring out. So I always just kind of say, be open and be eager and expansive to what kind of information Spirit wants to share with you. The second tip that I recommend when you're preparing for a session is to relax as much as you possibly can. I get it. It's kind of a nerve-wracking experience a lot of time, especially if you don't know the person that you're going to see, if you haven't seen them before, or if you're just nervous, like what if the people that I want to talk to don't show up? What if they're not here? What if I can't make sense of anything? What if I make sense of everything? What if I don't want to hear what Spirit has to say? All that kind of stuff. So I get it. It can be kind of overwhelming, but as much as you possibly can, try to relax. So from my experience as a medium, most mediums out there will probably agree with me, we're empaths and we're big time feelers. So for me, I feel everything that's coming off of your energy, also though the energy of Spirit. So it's quite a lot of feelings and emotions all in one room at one time. So the more relaxed my client is, from my experience, the more the information comes through with ease and grace, and the less kind of choppy it is at the beginning. So not to say, again, it's not going to affect your entire reading. If you come in a little bit nervous, by all means, that's fine. Don't freak yourself out over this by any means at all. But if there's anything that you can do to just relax into this place a little bit of trust, I highly recommend it. So if that means that you also kind of do a little bit of a meditation or maybe a bit of a prayer before you walk in to see the medium that you're looking to see, or maybe doing some journal pages, like just kind of writing down. Sometimes people show up early, and so if you get there early, I would even recommend getting to your place a little bit early so that you can sit in your car maybe, or sit outside out front and just kind of journal a little bit, get some stuff off of your mind, get some stuff out there so that you can just kind of relax, just relax. So just go into it, just kind of throwing some trust out and relaxing a little bit. So I know that I mentioned to let go of all expectations, to let spirit decide what we talk about, to let spirit decide how the information comes through and how they validate themselves. Awesome, yes. But tip number 3 is actually to come prepared with a little bit of an idea of what you kind of want to know. So especially if you're going, this is really kind of pertaining to a psychic reading or in a mediumship reading, if you're sitting with a medium and you're wanting a little bit of guidance or reassurance on the path that you're on right now. So when we're looking into kind of future, if you're wanting a little bit of validation around maybe relationships in your life or your job or your schooling or whatever, health, all that kind of stuff, to have a little bit of a list. You don't have to come with it written out necessarily, but I usually recommend that you spend some time kind of thinking about what you would like to get out of the session. Most people, this is kind of a given, and you're not even booking the session until you really know why you want to go there. So this might be kind of a no-brainer, but it really is helpful, and it can be helpful for the medium as well. If we're kind of approaching the end of a session, and let's say I haven't talked about the things that you want to talk about, or Spirit hasn't brought them up yet. Of course, I think myself and any other medium out there, we want you to get the most out of your reading, and so does Spirit. So if there's anything that we're missing or anything that's not coming up that you'd like to discuss, mention it and ask the questions. Usually, most mediums, most psychics will say to wait until the end or towards the end. We want to give our information, let Spirit do their thing first. But if there's anything that's missing, by all means, feel free to ask. So I know a lot of my clients will come with questions written out. Sometimes they'll just come with them in their minds, and just kind of knowing. And most of the time, the questions get answered already. So you're going to end up with no questions by the end of it. But it's nice to know that you have a little bit of a direction. So letting go of expectations of how the information comes through, but the type of information that you're hoping to get, I think that that's a good thing to know. So there you have it, those three tips on how you can really prepare for a session. Like I said, if you don't do these things, that's totally cool. You're going to get an awesome reading. Hopefully, if you come with an open mind, I think that's the biggest thing. That being said, if you can do a few little things, just sort of prepare yourself, prepare your energy, take a few deep breaths, relax into it, let go of your expectations. You'll go into this with a much higher vibration, a nicer kind of energy, and will probably make connections a little bit quicker than maybe you normally would.